Morning everybody. It's Acorn Spring League this morning. So it's about 6:45. We're just going to get off on our way now, get some fuel on the way, go into the bridge for our usual breakfast, see if we can get that egg right and score a little bit higher, isn't it? And then off to Acorn Fishery itself. We'll pick up our bait and then obviously the all important draw. Really want to get off to a good start in the series. Very important too. It's over 6 matches. You drop your worst result, so 5 of your results count, and it's a 3-section rotation. So your draw will put me with a section of people that I will follow around the lake. So you'll have like that one section of follow all the way around the lake, and then the 4th draw you'll have a random draw again, and then you'll follow that section again for the next 2 sort of matches, and that'll be your 6 matches. So I never really try and worry about who's in my section and what all that. I just try and focus on the peg I draw, fish the best you can out of that peg, and that's really all you can do, isn't it? So fingers crossed. We came second in the league last year. We were very close to winning it. I have won it in the past, but it's been a little while ago now, so I would like to win it again. Very important to get off to a good start, as I say. So let's get down there, and as I say, fingers crossed for a bungo. See you in a bit. Hi everyone. So we're just priming our pinging line there, which is a couple of meters, about 3 meters off to the left of where we're going to cab pot some pellets across. We started off down the edge there, as you've seen, mainly just because I had a little bit of shade under that tuffet, and I wanted to have a go there before the shade disappeared as the sun sort of moves round. And we had a little carp, didn't we, in a little tench, a sort of free fish, if you like, you know. They're freebies. So we're going across now, tapping in a few cab pellets, you can see. 4mm hard pellets as per usual. And this is about a third time we've gone across there and cab potted some, and finally we've got one. There are fish across, but the fish down here at the moment are spawning. They're not going completely nuts, but you might see in shot in a bit just one or two splashes here and there. I don't feel like we got it quite right across yet at all. As I say, this is my third put in, and I've been sort of varying the feed in the cab pot, sort of suspending it off the bottom, slowly lowering it in, and we haven't had any fish like that. In fact, it's quite surprised me for how many fish I've seen sort of spawning across, how little movement we've had on the float. It feels like they're shying away from the pellets a little bit. So we've drawn peg 19, as you've seen, and the nice thing about this peg is it's only 14.5 meters wide. Well, I say 14.5 meters. Truthfully, I've got me no number one in, a short 4 in, so it's probably like 13.5. So, which is really nice. So I can ship back in one go rather than break it down twice due to the fence behind. And also, if the wind gets up, I can reach across and present, a bit better than people fishing longer. So it's a little bit of an advantage. In the winter, it can be a disadvantage, but this time of year, I see it as a plus. As you can see, it's a lovely day. We've got a little bit of breeze there, right to left. And we are on what you call Cyanide Strait, first round of the Acorn Spring League. So it's far from fast and furious across, as we said. They're not really coming to the feed. And what I have found is about a minute after I've cab potted in, I get one or two little knocks on the float, and within sort of the next 30 seconds after that, that's my sort of little window, if you like, to get a bite. We either get a bite or we don't, but I sort of repeat the process. Then I come back, fill that cab pot half full of pellets, probably about 24mm hard pellets, fishing the same on the hook. As I say, we tap them in. Within a minute, we get a couple of fish coming the peg, and we've got a 30-second window to get a bite. If we don't get one then, or we miss one, you just will repeat the process, start again. I'm hopeful on building that sort of pinging line there as well. Not going mad with feed. And the kit across as well as our sort of usual fare, our sort of little 3B8 float. 016 main line, not too heavy, and an 012 hook length because I just fancy where they've been spawning. It's going to be difficult, and I also fancy we might catch a few different species. I was told in the week a lot of stockies were caught, and there are carassios in here, tench, crusions, eyed. So some of you watching may be thinking, come on, Bungo, why aren't you sort of drip feeding pellet, and fishing off the deck, and trying to catch one or two off the bottom. But here, if you foul hook one, generally they're just swimming along the boards. It doesn't seem to work. When you catch shallow here at Acorn, it's generally down the middle. You generally catch shallow in the deep water, if that makes sense. Very difficult to catch them shallow across. Okay, so we finally catch a carp over our pinged pellet. Um, I'm not complaining though, because those Carrassios and those tench they weigh, so I'm more than happy with that. And I haven't cooked anything I can't handle on 012 hook length at the moment. If I did and I lost something, we could always step up to 014. But I always prefer starting on the lighter line because if you started on the heavier line, you just take too long to scale down. You'll catch an odd fish on the heavier line, then you just take too long to scale down. And I've said it before, but it's all about getting the bite here at Acorn. Get the bite first. It's lovely fishing though, isn't it? Fantastic. When they've put the boards in now and dug it all out a bit. They sort of put that earth up in the middle as well, which because you used to be able to see everybody on the lake, you know, because that wasn't up there on the island. But now it's starting to get some sort of growth on it, and that's starting to get quite green down here, starting to get quite lush again as well. It's get very nice as well, Acorn, and you can park right behind your peg. 90% of the pegs you park right behind your peg. You've got a nice path to your concreted sort of peg that you sit on. And as you can see, it's all sort of nicely cut grass as well, so it's lovely. They're nothing massive, but they're all nice little weight builders, aren't they? And it's all about winning the section. So we're 90 minutes into the match, and I start introducing some casters down the middle. I continue pinging pellets across, then go across on my cab potted line as well, and it just keeps us, we're just keeping nice and busy, aren't we? But I've started to feed that caster line because sometimes sort of a cross can last for the first couple of hours and it can drift basically, and I might have to go down the middle or somewhere else. And I don't fancy catching in the deep water. I just think it's a little bit negative. So I figured shallow casters, I can always catch silvers, always the chance of an old carp as well, of course. And then we got our short line and our edge as well later, as where we're hoping to catch late in the match. Although I will say down there lately it has been really late. I've actually missed one match and not did a video of it, and I came second in section and guested in Tony Rix's float only league, which was down here, which was a well attended match. Always a good match when Tony runs it. But I drew peg 12 again, believe it or not, which is where we were in our last video in the short pole league. I had £98, I think. Um, but the inside and the short line just came so late. Same as that when we were in that top two match. It came, you didn't catch fish on it till the last sort of 30 minutes. So you've got to be busy, haven't you, in these early matches? I mean, everybody's going to catch when the fish have a go. It's these early hours and the middle hours, especially when it can go a bit hard, is when you've got to keep trying to put something in the net. And that's all it's about. Just keep putting something in the net. I'm looking around the section and I think, to be honest, we're doing well. But it's difficult to tell. Somebody else might be catching £6 fish. They might not look like they're catching that many fish, but it might be bigger fish. Or vice versa, isn't it? Somebody might be catching quite well like myself, and people think you're catching big fish, but it's small fish. So you just got to catch what's there. So just by working hard, changing those two lines across, we're keeping on Carrassio, tench, small carp going into the net. Absolutely lovely fishing. I'd sooner get lots of small fish like that, if I'm really honest, than some big fish. I mean, we all like big fish, but it's just better sport, isn't it? More bites. So as I was saying, we're half filling that cab pot with four hard 4 mil Coppins pellets. We wet them in the cad pot when we got the top kit in our hands. Then we put the top kit on the pole, ping a few pellets across, fling a few casters in down the middle.
Then we ship across, and all those wetted 4 mil pellets should then sink. That's why we wet them. One, we don't they don't jump out the pot so well when they're dry. They stay in the pot better, but they all sink. If you tip them in straight from being dry out your bait box or out the bag, as it were, sometimes they can float or hang in the water a little bit. And we entice that one by lifting and dropping there when we drop the pellets in. So things are looking up a little bit from where we were, a couple of hours ago, isn't it? I feel a cross is getting stronger rather than weaker, to be honest, at the minute. So we had a good run on that cab potted pellet line, and now we're finding an odd carp on the ping line too. And I'm unsure what's changed really. Is it because we've built these lines up, or because other people have sort of give up across, and I've got a lot of room now. I've got a lot of water to myself across there, or is it just they stopped spawning and they're getting their heads down a little bit? Um, or time of day. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it was really difficult before. Obviously, I've cut out a lot of time in between fish, etc. But now it just feels like there's proper dumpy little carp there. As soon as I feed, really. And on the ping line now, as you've seen, we're actually pinging pellets while we're holding the po out there. which was always something I had up my sleeve, but not something I wanted to do straight away. It's like subtle little changes, isn't it? You ping on that line and build it for an hour before you ever go on it. And when you go on it, you catch a few fish. You ping pellets in before you go ship out and lower your rig in there, etc. And then by pinging and lifting and lowering the rig down through it, or lowering it in, the rig in, I should say, it's like a different presentation again, isn't it, compared to the feeding? Just subtle little changes just give you little runs of fish, doesn't it? Just two fish doing this and another two fish doing that, and it all mounts up. I mean, if I was under some real pressure at the moment in the section, I could consider scaling up a little bit now to that 014. Same size hook, mind, I'd still be on a 20 LWG. Simply because I'm using white hydro, I just think it's a nice little combination. I'm not saying it's the right way, I'm just saying it works for me. Match fishing's a funny old game, really, isn't it? It's like when I say what's right for me and what might be right for me might not be right for yourselves, and you may well do it differently than I do. And I know lots of people who fish so differently, and not just in their techniques and methods in which they're fishing, but um, how they make themselves comfortable and confident whilst they're sat on their pegs. It's like some people like to do a lot of preparation, other people like to turn up and get to their peg quite late and just put up a couple of rigs they make on the bank. That doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to do loads and loads of preparation so they mentally feel they're prepared. Um, Others like to get up early and get to the draw early and be all organised and get their bait and make sure, because they don't want to, make sure they haven't run out in the shop, and want to draw early because they want to spend that extra little bit of time at their peg setting up. And it's whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. There's no right or wrong way. I'm personally one of those in between. I do prep, but I don't do masses of lots of prep. But I do like to be a little bit organised. I do like to arrive on time. I don't like being late. And I do like to get in the draw bag early, I must admit, because I like as much time in my peg setting up as I can get, if I'm honest. I'm one of those, if you give me 3 hours to set up, I use it. Crazy. So we're still putting those casters down the middle. And I don't think we're going to need them, but I've got the casters with me. I have seen a few blows there. I've not seen any carp breaking surface or anything. But there's always a chance of one or two there. Whether we'll need it or not yet, I don't know. That's the best fish of the day there. It's a nice 6 pounder that. So just as we were saying, it's got brilliant across. It's actually got really slow again. So we've gone. What we've done now is took our little bulk rig, the cab potting line, where we've got a 3B8 float, and we've actually got three number 10s underneath that float, all grouped together above a 4-inch hook length. So I've spread them apart now and sort of strung it out, just give it a slightly different presentation. And that's winkling us out an odd fish again now. But just as I was thinking, like it's turned into a rocket ship, it's slowed. Well, the wind across may not look that bad, but it's getting quite awkward now to present at times. And with it being slower as well, you're having to hold the rig that much longer. I mean, I keep laying it in on that pinging line, and once in a blue moon it goes under, but it's certainly slowed a little bit. From what I can see at the moment, and the nice thing is with Cyanide Strait is you can see the whole section. So this section starts from peg 13 to my right, along to 24 on my left. And obviously, as we mentioned earlier, we're on 19, so we're sort of middle of the section really. And from what I can see, we are doing okay. I'd say you can't be 100%, but I'd say we're ahead. To be honest, I think we're winning the section, which is a nice feeling, isn't it? You know, you're not under any pressure to rush anything or try and catch anybody up or make any silly mistakes. You're just keep adding to the net and making it more difficult for others to catch you up. Then, aren't you? Always a nice position to be in, pole position. That's another reasonable tench. Another little tench. It's quite strange. I expected more of those sort of fish on the cab potting line, the pinging line. I really expected to be predominantly carp. It's really surprised me that today. Never caught so many tench and carassios and things on a sort of pinged line. We're back on the cab potting one again now. That wind's definitely getting up. So more difficult to hold it for long enough to get that bite now. Right in it if you cab potted in and you're sort of waiting 30 seconds for the float to dig, but when you got to wait sort of 3 minutes or something, it doesn't sound long, it's a long time trying to hold it steady. The only good thing is, of course, again, as we mentioned, is we got a short reach, others have got longer. So across sort of did slow up, so I thought I'd have a quick little look on that caster line. I've gone straight out on the real shallow rig, so I'm looking to catch carp really. I don't need to go deeper to catch skimmers, nide and things. I don't know how fast that would be anyway, but well, as long as we can catch old carp, I don't really feel the need to go after silvers. So it didn't really happen. So we went back across again. It just feels like it's gone. So I spent the next 5 minutes down the edge, potting Blake's pole mix, treble live maggot on the hook. I had a little dink on the float. And what I will say on this is my empty peg or spare peg is to my left, that tuffet side, which looks fantastic. The only trouble is having my nets in like I have and the wind going the way it is, it's kind of made the inside flat. I would have liked it to have had that ripple on the water. Now I've got that to me right, but Darren on 18 is quite close to me. So as you can see, I'm just fishing a top kit down there. We don't actually catch on that line at all. But I'd have loved for my spare peg to be on the right. That would have been really favourable, to be honest. So we've started flicking in some maggots on the short line, as you've seen. I might well need that because I'm not sure this edge is really going to go. And the slope on this maggot line there isn't that nice. That feels like a skimmer. That's something. yeah, it does run away a little bit. So we're having to sort of fish on the slope. I haven't got a really nice flat area or anything. So the kit we use on this rig is our usual RW Maggie 4B12 1.7 bristle, grey hydro, 014, size 16 hook, double or treble maggot on the hook. Not throwing loads of maggots in, as you can see, sort of 20, 25 maggots a time, throwing in twice. Being on a slope, I can get away with feeding it that bit heavier as well, because those maggots are going to crawl or roll, etc., down the slope. And I need to chuck them just beyond me float if I can. I don't want to be foul hooking them. Well, that short maggot line has been good for us, hasn't it? I didn't really fancy it, to be honest, the way it sort of plumbed up. I was really relying on the edge, but the edge, as we mentioned earlier, is coming in so late. If you haven't got the wind driving straight into you or something, in a corner or something, I mean, it's very late. So pleased really with that short line. It's a mixture of fish, mine old skimmers, tench again, showing everywhere, aren't they? But some nice carp in between as well. And we need them as well because there was a bit of pressure because there's a couple of people in the section that are starting to catch big carp. Um, Kev down on, I think he's on 16 or 15, and Chris up on 24 end peg, bridge peg with the wind blowing into the side of the concrete. Oh, that's a lovely tench. Yeah, they're both catching like sensible sized carp. I think we're still just ahead, but I needed to keep putting something in the net. I need to put pressure on them to try and catch me up, not just sit there sort of putting nothing in the net. I mean, that's the point where you make mistakes, isn't it? Where I could suddenly start feeding too heavy, trying to be too aggressive, trying to catch big fish that aren't necessarily present, and but really all you want to do is just keep putting them in the net. I love it. All those little things that run through your mind, in match fishing, it's brilliant, really. I probably sound like complete mad, but I love it. It's nothing like match fishing, and it's such a sport, isn't it? 6 hours of total focus and concentration. You lapse your concentration, miss a bite, that can be costly, can't it? I love those little dinky maggot bites on that short line, isn't it? It's amazing how soft those fish bite once they start sucking up those light maggots. It can be very tiny little dinks. Strike everything when you're fishing maggots. And you catch everything on them as well, don't you? Later on in the year, we might be doing this with pellets. Mine hard pellets some days on some pegs, but at the moment where the weather's still, I mean, we've had some terrific weather recently, but it's not sort of, July or August or anything yet, is it? So